say there's no choir.
No choir.
No choir.
No choir.
Yeah.
You like to serve.
Everybody mix up.
Speakers are there.
So why did you pick you?
They tried, but I declined.
But this hosting, are you serious?
I don't want to do that. My plan was to do that.
I would have just declined. What I was like, why did they don't go to the
It's your field now. Yeah. You, yes, now say. What's up? I don't like the interview. I don't understand. It's live now.
Life, let's go fast.
It's not exactly as it's happening now. That's how life works.
But the life is too much.
Actually.
The life is too much.
Man, they'll take anyone they get. But this life is not life. Wait, though. Anybody that's watching this is getting everything.
ahead. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Nice to see you guys. Good morning. Um, Welcome to the second edition of Leadership for Next Generation. This particular edition is in conjunction with the Pathway Church. This is the location that you are at. And the title for this conference is Raising Kings. Today, we are going to be listening to inspiring speakers. They're going to educate us about the mindset of excellence, enduring leadership, and self-leadership. My name is Esther Abiola. I'm the co-host for today, and my host today is Onyi Damola. She'll take it up from here.
Good morning. You're welcome once again. Wow, seeing beautiful faces. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, ma. Right now, we're going to have the icebreaker session. I'm sure someone is wondering, okay, icebreaker. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to be asking questions about leadership, and I'm going to call names. I can see someone smiling already. So yes, right into it. We'll go straight into it. What's one leadership lesson you've learned recently? Okay, let me just step down. Okay, hello sir, how are you? Good morning. Okay, so the question is, what's one leadership lesson you've learned recently?
It's not exactly recent, like something of time past from school and stuff. So like, the core essence of being a leader is being a good follower as well. Like, in order for you to be able to lead someone, you need to understand how to follow.
Okay, so in order to be able to be a good leader, you need to understand how to be a good follower. Okay, I like that. Thank you very much. So the next question would be, if you could have dinner with any leader, living or dead, who would it be and why? To you, ma.
It will be Oprah Winfrey. She's leaving. I'm particularly, I'm wild about the impact that she's done and she's made in the life of so many girls, a lot of girls that seemingly relegated, and the impact that she's made in their lives, and she's continuously doing it. So there's a particular part of her that I so much admire, and so yes, it will be Oprah.
Thank you so much, ma. Oprah Winfrey. Thank you. So the next question would be, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone aspiring to be a leader? Okay. Good morning, sir. Could you please do us the honor?
One piece of advice for someone aspiring to be a leader. There are loads of things really, but I think one of the biggest traits of leadership is being able to see the bigger picture of things, because leadership is not always it looks appealing from the outside, but from the inside it can be very daunting. So your ability to not to see what everybody sees, but to see the bigger picture. We usually say that that's like visionary thinking. So your ability to just to visualize, that is what separates you from the follower, because everybody can follow, but follow what? So the vision, your ability to see beyond what everybody sees and create that bigger picture.
Okay, so if you're aspiring to be a leader, you need to be able to see what others are not seeing, to be able to see far, to be able to see, beyond what's, currently, what you're currently seeing or what others are currently seeing. All right, thank you so much, sir. So I'm going to meet one more person, and the last question says, what's your leadership style in 3 words? We have a leader in our midst, a young, vibrant leader. So please. So sorry.
My leadership style in 3 words. Patience, compassion, and tenacity.
Thank you so much. Patience, compassion, and tenacity. Thank you. Okay. Anyone enjoying the icebreaker session? Are you still thinking whether I'll come and meet you and ask you 1 or 2 questions? Okay. We'll move on straight up to inviting Mr. Yomi Akinshola. He is the CEO, Pearl Leadership Consult. And of course, is the convener of this amazing conference. We welcome you, sir. I would like you to please take the welcome address.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. It's a privilege to be able to do this with you. Yeah, this is a vision that has come to play. It has come to stay. It was birthed about 12 years ago, and we had a mindset that we wanted to reach out to a lot of people, young minds especially. And what why don't we have these people as our role models? So we made up our minds that we're going to push to have such people to mentor us, to be our role model, to push us in the right of greatness and upward drive. Quickly, Pearl Leadership Consult has had different programs. We've gone to different schools. We've spoken at different programs. And then one of such is the Jodo Community School. People look at the school and look at, oh, what kind of school is this? But the idea is that many of them are not proud of that school. And I'm aware that that was a school that a popular football player in Nigeria played, Sheyi Olofinjano. Yes, he used to come there to play when we were young as kids. And it showed that if a great man like that was able to play across Europe could come out of that school, why do we look at it from the aspect that people can't be exceptional at what they do? So that was one of the dreams, and then try to recalibrate their minds as regards that. And to God be the glory, we have mentored quite a number of them. We have a WhatsApp group. They are a member of this of our WhatsApp group, and we were sure that they learned 1 or 2 things, leadership skills, basically stemming from leading their own lives. When you lead your life well and you're coming out excellently well, the rest thing is that a lot of people want to tailor their lives after yours. So apart from being someone that has been able to do his own life well, immediately you begin to have followers, whether you like it or not. So that is one of the things that have made us to put our minds at peace and to ensure that we are able to mentor others, to push for more people to be a part of this community of raising amazing leaders. All of us complain about how bad Nigeria is. All of us complain about how undeveloped Nigeria is. But have we asked ourselves questions that who are these people looking up to? What's the caliber of leaders that these people have? Those are the questions we have to ask ourselves. So we took it upon ourselves to say that we are going to produce a new set of leadership, that if they find themselves in government, they are going to exhibit those leadership characteristics that we have been able to imbibe in them. Again, we also talk about it that if Nigeria is like this, it's a reflection of the kind of leaders that Nigeria has. So if we are going to change from being a developing country or an undeveloped country to a developed one, it's going to stem from a place of having leaders that are thinking. That thinking is not in line with the kind of leaders that we possibly have. Do we all have all set of bad leaders? No. It only means that we need to multiply the numbers of quality leaders that we have. So again, we ask ourselves, is it that we don't have those leaders as of today? It's simply because we don't project them the way they should be projected. Many times we go to the what kind of people do we have out there as leaders? We ask ourselves, are they people that are whatever? We ask ourselves, who are the role models of the young people? So these are the things, these are the questions that we sought to address, and we made up our minds that, look, we are not going to be pushed aside. We are going to project this quality of people that we look up to. We can mention many names, but we'll find out that the quality ones are not the ones that are in our faces. The ones that are of negative reputation are the ones that are being celebrated. You go to some places and then you hear that, I just want to be rich. How? They don't care. So people tell you, there's a period that we did an informal, let's just say, census. Out of
about 10 youths, 7 will always say that I want to go into governance so that I can steal. They were unashamed about it. That's not leadership. That is a hireling. That's a hireling. A leader is like a shepherd, someone that wants to take care of everyone within his fold. It's coming from a place of compassion. You are caring about the people that are following you. You care about the quality of lives that these people have. So if you have a set of people that all is in their mind that they want to go and steal from the public purse, and we know that Nigeria as of today, we are billions of dollars in abeyance when it comes to infrastructural development, quality of roads, housing, schools, hospitals, drugs, innovation, technology. Nigeria is way behind. So if you are a country that is way behind and you have young people that should take over the saddle of leadership, having a mindset that when I become a governor, when I become a senator, when I become a director general of an agency, when I become a CEO, all that I have at the back of my mind is that I want to steal, then there's a problem. There is no light at the back or at the end of such a tunnel. Why? Because the leaders that you are producing are not leaders that want to take the country from this level to a greater level. So that's a huge challenge that we are burdened about, we are worried about. We used to say that Nigeria was going to get better when we were teenagers. Now, some of us have hit the age 40 and it's looking as if it's not even getting close to. So, but an average leader would not look at it that hope is lost. We have a mindset that, look, we are the ones that will make the change happen. It starts with us. And that is why we have taken this step to ensure that we are going to do things differently. Is it tough? Yes. Is it difficult? Yes. But is it impossible? No. So how do we get these things to happen? It's simple. This first step about recalibrating the mind of the average youth, about saying that, look, Nigeria is a blessed country. Africa is a blessed continent. The black man is a blessed race. So what do we all need to do differently? We need to sit up and say that we are going to do things differently. And that is why Pear Leadership Consult came up. And then to God be the glory, we've gone to different schools and then we have spoken to different people. We have conducted different leadership sessions, even with some different agencies, state agencies at different times and just to help them to come out better. But basically, our core is about the mind. first, we look at it because out of everything that you're going to do, the mind is what determines what you're going to do. If you have a mindset that there's a solution to this problem, you are already halfway there. When you have a mindset that this problem of leadership can actually be solved. And that is why we moved up. And quickly, the Pathway Church, the pastor is Pastor Deji Olawale. He also has that vision for youth. He has that vision that we will have a community of youths that fear God, but they are earthly relevant, whereby you see them and you know that these are solution providers. And that was why it was easy for us to come together to say that this conference was going to hold, and a lot of people's lives will be touched and transformed. And I'm also privileged to have amazing people as our speakers, and I want us to jam our hands together for our speakers. The reason why I've asked us to actually jam our hands together for them is that these are very, very busy people, but they also care about the youths. And those are the kind of people we need in places of power and influence. So if they are here today, they are doing this for us. You imagine what they've already done at different forums. So I would like everybody here and everybody that has joined us online to please get your writing pad and ensure that you get amazing things written down from these people. They have put in their lives, they have put in their time, they have put in their talents to get this done. Please, I want us to all be partakers of this greatness. Thank you, and God bless you as you have joined us.
Thank you. Sure you guys have missed seeing our faces. So before we get to inviting the guests and the speakers, I had a question for my co-host, and I told her I was going to ask her so that we can know. First of all, I'm personally very drawn to soft skill. So seeing that a man had taken it upon himself to build a vision like this to impact young people like myself is quite inspiring. So thank you, Pastor Yomi, for that. Then for my co-host, I wanted to ask, what's one leadership advice that you would have for younger generation? People younger than you. People younger than you.
Okay. One leadership advice would be to, I would say, stay away from peer pressure. Stay away from peer pressure. I mean, because a leader would generally stand out. And I know that young people are usually faced with, the issue or issues of peer pressure, wanting to do what others are doing, what is trending. And so, yes, I would say it's a leadership advice. Stay away from peer pressure. For you to stand out, you don't have to do what every other person is doing. You don't have to do what the norm is. For you to be a leader as a young person, you should have the mindset of standing out, of not doing what the norm is, basically. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Since nobody asked me, you actually have to serve their best interests and every capacity that they are. I have been blessed to serve different teams in different ramifications, and I realized that the people that have been remarkable leaders, people that people have enthralled, people that people have loved, I said, I liked how she did this, were just people that made sure that they led from the back. They didn't just stand in the front and, they just kept going. They made sure that they led from the back. They made sure they could see that the people even above them, in front of them, were doing good. So, so we are graced to be here, that these people are here to share this insightful information with us. So we're going to be inviting our first speaker. Yeah.
Yes. So just before we do that, I'm just going to say that, in addition to what Pastor Yomi has said, I'd like everyone to just please, be attentive, don't be distracted, write, important things. I'm sure you'd learn a lot from this. Thank you.
Okay. So our first speaker is Mrs. Komi Jago. Yes, and she's one of our own here. So I like that we have a representation of our church as a speaker. So before I go on to read her bio, I just wanted to let you know that she's also a member of this church. So our profile goes thus. Komi Jago is a seasoned human resource leader and career coach with 17 years manufacturing and commercial experience across the human resource value chain. Currently works with Chivita Hollandia International, a member of the Coca-Cola Company, as the head rewards and shared services. A career spans across mostly Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC as HRBP commercial and supply chain, and later flour operation production. She also worked in Lonto High Tech Company Limited and Honeywell Flour Mills PLC in various HR capacities. Impressive. Komi has an executive MBA from Rome Business School, BS in Business Administration, and a diploma in accounting from Olabisi Onabanjo University. She's currently studying and pursuing a doctorate in business administration from Rome Business School. Oh, okay. An associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria with a professional diploma in human resource management, holds an impact certificates on women and leadership, business management, and currently striving for entrepreneurship and communication, all from European Business University, Luxembourg. Komi is a speaker, passionate about leadership on all frontiers. This led to a post on leadership via social media handles, highly convinced that the better leaders we groom and develop, the better organizations and the country will be. So can we jam our hands together to welcome the only person I know from Rome Business School, Mrs. Komi Jago.
You're welcome. I was super glad to have you.
Good
You're
morning.
welcome.
Good morning.
If you're clapping, please clap well.
Thank you. All glory to God. Thank you. And so it feels awesome to be here. It feels really awesome to be here, especially when you are at home, and it feels at home already. And so I just want to thank God on behalf of our very own Pastor Yomi Akishola. Yes, Yomi Akishola is our pastor. Pastor Yomi Akishola, PY. I want to thank God for you, because this is a rare case of somebody pursuing and fulfilling purpose, intentionally making impacts in your generation. And for you to be doing this, intentional about this, I pray in the name of Jesus that you will see the better Nigeria, the better youth that you are intentionally impacting in the name of Jesus. And all of us, we will all see the rewards in Jesus' name. And so I want to honor God on behalf of each and every one of us that were here, being intentional with our time to take a learning or two. And also I want to honor God on behalf of our speakers online and on site. God bless you in Jesus' name. And so I just go straight to it to say, many years ago, many decades ago, 95 years ago, specifically 1929, there was a young man that was born. And, you know, in a family of 3 siblings, he was the one in the middle of the 3. That's the second born. And this particular person, you know, the normal thing, went to school, studied, obtained a doctorate, and then basically, when did he come to the limelight? When he led a protest on the Montegory bus boycott. That happened, you know, that protest happened in the US, where, you know, we have heard of Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat in the bus, you know, when segregation was happening that time. And she refused to give up her seat. And because she refused to give up her seat for a white person, she was arrested. But what did this man do? He used that opportunity to stand, and he led a non-violent protest. All the Africans and Americans, all of them, they boycott the bus. What happened? A year after, that happened for a year. And then that segregation of you being a black, standing up for a white to sit, that stopped. But that happened from his intentional efforts of leading a non-violent protest. Apart from that, this same man, I want to expect that you figured it out now. That is Dr. Martin Luther King. This particular same man also led another protest where people moved. You would have seen the movie Selma. People moved from Selma to Montegory. The first one they did, people died. more or less, they called it a bloody, I think it was a Sunday, a bloody Sunday. People died, but it happened again. And by the time it happened, the whole wide world was watching. You had priests, you had nuns go and join them in that work. Join the blacks, the Africans, the African Americans. And they did that work on the bridge. All those people that attacked them the first time, this time, the federal governments, they were the ones that supported to ensure their security. Long and short, first attempt, they didn't do well. They crossed, people got injured. They did not even eventually cross. The second time they did. Why am I mentioning this man? I'm mentioning this man because a lot of times when you hear, oh, let us have a protest, it is violence. That is always the impression. It is violence. But protests do not have to be violence. And that's what this man did. And he's known for. He's died now. He died 1968. But then he's known for the person that led successful protest, but non-violence. And so this is saying that all of us, what did this man do? This man led himself. And the session I'll be taking is self-leadership. I'll be taking the session on self-leadership. So what will we describe as self-leadership? First of all, what is leadership? John Maxwell said leadership is influence. I agree with him. Everything rises and falls on leadership. The challenge that we have in our country, Nigeria will be great again. In our own time, we will see it in Jesus' name. But the challenge that we have, everything is from leadership. All the countries in the world that we admire so much, Dubai. Where was Dubai 40 years ago? And where are they now? Funny enough, they're not even allowing our green passports to enter. Our so-called green passports. In Jesus' name. Our green passports will have value in Jesus' name. Amen. And so when you look at the countries, the organizations that you admire, leaders. Who did it? Leaders. So leadership is influence. And now that we have said that everything rises and falls on leadership, I don't know if the slide can run. Okay, all right. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So what then will you call self-leadership? Self-leadership is you leading yourself. It is you leading yourself. And then, I just want us to just think about this. You can just move along with me. The slides. You can move. Let's work together. All right. And so, what will we say? I just want you to think about a time. Think about the best leader that you know, that you admire. Just take a pause and just think, who is this person that I admire so much as a leader? What did this person do? Just take a pause. What do I admire most about this leader? What did this person do that I am really admiring about this particular leader? What did this person do to me? Or do to somebody that I know? If you think about it, the person did not scream at somebody. The person did not kill. The person influenced. And that is where we are looking at in terms of self-leadership. Leadership is not a function of your title, irrespective of whatever it is that you have. It's not a function of your position. Leadership is a function of your behavior and attitude. You can only influence people. How do you influence people? They see what you are doing. You are walking the talk. You are saying something, just the way parents can easily influence their children. The parents, they are saying something and they are doing something else. It is what they are doing that their children will follow. And all of us, practically all of us in this room, not just in this room, in the world at large, we are today mostly because of our upbringing. However, the onions is on us. We say, oh, damage leaders, damage people. Abuse leaders, abuse people. Bruise leaders, bruise people. Irrespective of whatever bruise or damage that you have experienced. Because Nigeria on its own is abusing people. You like it or not, it's abusing people. However, the onions is on you as an individual. Will I heal? Or will I just keep on dwelling in that pain and that bruise, that abuse, that damage that I've experienced? The onions is on you. And that is why we're emphasizing on what leadership is. And then let us walk through some strategies in self-leadership. How do I even know that I can effectively lead myself and influence people? Since we've said now that leadership is behavior, it's based on your behavior and your attitude. It's important for us, please let's note this, self-check. On your leadership journey, you have to do a self-check. How do you do your self-check? You need to know your strengths and you need to play to your strengths. I'm saying I want to lead people. Just the way I am, I have developmental areas. In the HR palace, we call it developmental areas. We no longer use that word, weaknesses. It's a developmental area, meaning that it can be worked on. So first of all, what are my strengths? It is the strength that I have that I would use and amplify. So play to your strength. Let's say you want to do something, you want to do a business, you want to step into something new. Basically, you should know, what are my strengths? Am I a starter? You have individuals that are starters. What they do is, the energy is there and they start. But in between, they begin to nosedive in terms of they are looking forward for the next adventure. If you know that that is your strength, and it's a developmental area of yours, but you have a strength to start, you can leverage on people around you to help you pursue. On another strategy on your leadership journey, you need to take feedback. Ask for feedback. A lot of times you just feel, I am so good. Yes, I am so good. But do you know that there's still some areas that you need to work on? You might not know. Self-awareness is where we are looking at. And how do you know what this feedback is? You have to ask. Ask your friends. People close to you will not tell you, at least people that you know that will not deceive you. And you will not expect them to lie to you. Either your friends, your peers, a senior, an associate, someone that you know that will be open enough, from we call inner circle, that person in your inner circle can tell you what it is. A spade is a spade. However, even when you take the feedback, one thing is, oh, I've taken the feedback. The next thing is, on my self-leadership journey, they've told me, what should I do? You do not just take the feedback, you embrace. And to the third strategy, embrace feedback. A lot of times, you do not look at, sometimes the way it's said, it can be painful. But when you're on your leadership journey and you are saying, I want to be better from where I was to where I am now, what you need to do, you do not look at the criticism or how it was communicated to you. Your focus should be on the message. What have they said that I need to work on? Is it my anger? Is it emotional intelligence? Do I need to develop myself? Do I need to improve myself? Your focus should be on the message, not how, because a lot of times it might not land well. Even though this is a chat to all of us, when we are giving feedbacks, please ensure you communicate well so people can receive it. But as individuals driving yourself on your self-leadership journey, you should focus on the message and not how it was communicated, the criticism across with it. You can move on to the next slide. You can move on to the next slide. Many years ago, that must have been around 11 years ago, I was playing in the office. One of my colleagues was a Muslim. I don't know what he was supposed to do for me, and I was just playing around, and I told him, I said he was fasting. And I was like this, I will give you a peck, I'll give you a peck. Lo and behold, I just noticed that the whole office was silent. What happened? My MD was behind me. I just froze because they caught me red-handed. In the world of today, they will say, they can even call that sexual assault. Now, in the world of today. But then, it was a joke. But my long and short was my MD just came in. He said, I heard your voice and I suspected it was you. I froze. And our performance appraisal was 2 months after. Calibration, we go to the MD. And just said, and then when he just said that, I just froze and I was sober the whole day. They've caught me, they've caught me playing, and I was really playing. But then I went to collect an approval from him the next day. The same man, it was just me and him in his office. He said, see, you are very brilliant. You know that you have a very great future, bright future ahead of you. But you are playful. I will deal with you. Till now, at least I'm telling you, 11 years after, that thing has stuck. Come here, watch your play. So sometimes, even in various places that I've worked, even in my current office, sometimes they feel I'm too serious. It's not that I'm too serious. I play, but I try to play in the corner and codedly. And when I want to play, I play hard, but I make sure it's coded or outside the environment. The idea is, that's because the words of my MD then, he's retired now. then still resonates. I have a bright future. That was good enough for me. But he said I was playful. I'm telling you now, because I still watch it. Even when I'm laughing and I'm looking like, okay, are you sure you're not too playful? And that has helped me. I looked at the message that day. I mean, they could have just dealt with me, but it was a stern warning, and he just told me, just said, you are playful, I will deal with you. And also, I did not want to get dealt with. So I became very intentional, all serious. And then, for the next week, people, when you play in the office and your colleagues are saying, call me, your face is just hard. They did not know what the guy told me the day before. But I held on to that. Also, about 7 years ago, yes, in another organization that I worked, whenever you need any information from me, I had this treasure book. I had all my information in that book. All I just needed to do is open that book. That book must not get missing. And then whatever information, I would just say, give me some minutes and I'll check. And then my line manager just told me to say, yes, Komi, you always have the information, but you have to look at your book. Why are you not using Excel? We've all known Excel has been available. But then I just felt moving this information to Excel and coming. And then I thought about it. She mentioned the first time, hey, why are you not just checking your system and just giving me the data that I require? I will have to open my book, check, do like this, and then I will say it. I will, articulately, in terms of the numbers, the analytics. But what was I doing? My book. Imagine if that book had gotten missing. And then it occurred to me to say, when I'm saying feedback, embrace feedback. And then I looked at it to say, okay, let me even move. Because, yes, we use Excel anyway. But it just never occurred to me to put all that particular information on Excel. And I did. And that changed the trajectory of my report writing in terms of analytics. It even helped me in stakeholder management because I had a particular principle. We called our stakeholders principal. And that particular, when you have principles and you have principalities. May we not have principalities in Jesus' name. But even when you have principalities, you have to manage them. And so you just have to find out what works. Emotional intelligence. How can I break through to this particular person? How can I get a win-win situation with this particular individual? And so I took that up. And since that time, what I noticed was whenever you ask me for any information, any analytics, before now, I'll give you like maybe 5 minutes, 3 minutes, because I will just check. But I will just open it, and then in less than 1 minute, I'm dishing out the data. I saw that truly worked for me. And when it works for me, I just look to say, I can do this particular thing. Then I started doing more, investing more, putting more data. And I saw that even efficiency, productivity, turnaround time in terms of the time it would take me to complete a particular task. And then, obviously, Excel is my best friend now. It's not just Excel. Now we have moved to business analytics. We have moved to Power BI. But that was when I really embraced what Excel could do for me at that time. But I probably would not have embraced it on time if I was not giving that feedback from my line manager. And that particular line manager was a very difficult one. So in my mind, first thing comes to say, is this beef now? Oh, you are looking for a fault. Don't worry. So in my mind, I just went like to say, no matter how difficult you are, I will manage you and I will excel. That so-called seemingly difficult line managers that we had so many people working with her leave. Instead, she promoted me twice. In 3 years, twice. But it started with me embracing that feedback. And so on your leadership journey, you have to have some particular individuals that I'm going to articulate for you. 4. 1, you have to have connectors. Your connector is someone that connects you as a leader. You leading yourself. And you are not just leading yourself. Leadership is influence. We are here raising kings. What you do influences down the line. And then you can also intentionally influence and make impacts. You need to have 1, connectors. Connectors are people in your network. They say your network is your net worth. And so you have to invest in your network. Connectors. Connectors are people in your network that can readily give you information. Just like who wants to be a millionaire? Dial a friend. And you are dialing. That person readily has that information that you require. The person either has the information or knows somebody that has the information. like 5 years ago, one of the organizations that I worked in the flour milling space, I spent a long time in the flour milling space. At that time, I was the HR business partner for commercial and supply chain. Huge coverage. And when I took on that role, my predecessor was moved into another assignment. I had a choice to just go like, oh, the big gun is here, yes, so. But I gave myself brain. And I was always in touch with that predecessor. There was a time I needed to do, there was so much work. I was working really late. Even when you work in late, work till so late, I'm saying 10, 11. I would forget and find out that there was a time I came out and it was 11 p.m. And my car was the only one packed. I drank coffee around 5 o'clock. And so all the antennas were up. But I did not even know it was that late. And that's because I had a deliverable I wanted to deliver the next day. Long story short, I needed to do a sales incentive. At that time, the sales incentive, because the sales team, they are large, is always ranging between 40 million to 70 million at that time. And the first incentive I had to do was about 42 million. In short, I was not even sure of what the payout was because I had so much to do. But number one, taking up that role and straddling up that job, I needed to first of all even understand the incentive policy because at that time, yes, I was fantastic in Excel. So that was not the problem because you would use Excel to calculate it anyway. But then I needed to even understand the policy so I would even know how I would punch my numbers and then come up because it was for a team of almost 200 people. And so what did I do? I thought about it. I needed to deliver the next day. And long story short, I called that predecessor. I said, see, I have this very tight deadline. I need to do this tomorrow. I've been sustaining the relationship with her. And she just thought, I said, please, instead of me reading this whole policy and creating it, walk me through. She just mentioned to me to say, Sandy, don't worry. I'll walk you through. So I felt, okay, we'll do a meeting on Teams, Microsoft Teams. And then she can walk me through. So it will just be easy for me. I was like, oh, the relationship is great. The next morning, this lady forwarded the rating. Calculated, 42 million. Calculated. It was relationship. If I had taken up that role, I was not even expecting it. I expected her to walk me through. If I had taken up that role, I just went, oh yes, the big gun is here. Who are you? From where to where? You have moved. Yes, maybe not a fantastic one. I'm more in the fantastic strategic position. Better exposure with the overseas directors. Blah, 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 blah. Will I have been able to call her? Even if I've called her, will she have answered me? This one that's been rolling on her eyes. Will she have answered me? No. I sent it to her in the evening, and the next morning I thought, because I mentioned I needed to deliver that thing in the afternoon. By morning, she has calculated the whole thing and just forwarded it to me. The only thing I just did was to put my name and put my signature, and I signed. And they're like, oh, you delivered it such a short time. You are fantastic. It was the connector that helped me. I collected the glory, of course. Will I tell you? It is the connector that went back to tell thank you. Do you know that she did that thing for 3 months? The third month, I now say, this time, it was every quarter. The third quarter, I said, no, now let us, I've read it. And I said, walk me through. But she was ready to continue doing this, even though she had no business in that role. And that's what a connector can do. So in your network, what are you doing with your connectors? Are you in touch with them? Sometimes your connector can either be above the line, up there, or below, or your pair. How are you managing relationships? In your network, your relationship is key. Another person that you need in your network is a salesperson. The salesperson is someone that will sell you when you are not there. The person will say, I know this person. Have you called her? Sometimes you get some things, and when you say, I was referred, sometimes somebody has referred you to somebody. Somebody has referred someone to you. You need a salesperson in your network who can sell you even when you need. Funny enough, a job that I got, I did not apply for that job. I was referred. When the communication was even happening, I didn't know. I did not even know. The person that even referred me, we were not so close. But we were former colleagues that she said, I did something for her. I don't know what I did for her. But she claimed later to me that I did something for her. When she was referring me, I did not know. When I got that job, I did not know she referred me until 4 months into the job. Funny enough, she still did not tell me she referred me. She was the one that sold me to that job. She did not tell me. It was my line manager that told me that this was the person that referred you, that I had shortlisted these candidates, and after shortlisting, I just asked her to say, what do you think about these two people that worked in this? Both of them worked in the flour milling industry. And the person said, they are great, but have you spoken to Kwame? That was what she said. And this person told me, I do not know her. And she said, have you spoken to Kwame? And she now said, I'm not speaking to Kwame, I need to close this is a tight deadline. She said, speak to Kwame first. And that was how they contacted me. Funny enough, I had all the opportunity to do shakara, because that morning my boss had just told me that they had promoted me to a senior manager. And that early in the morning, the same day, I had gotten another offer for a very senior role. So I told my boss for the first time, that my so-called difficult boss, it felt good to say, thank you for the opportunity. I'm very grateful, but can you give me some time to think about it? And the man dropped, you need time. I said, yes, I need time. I remember it was a Wednesday, and I said, I'll get back to you on Friday. I said, this is a road that nobody will want to pass over. Everybody will grab, and you are saying, because I knew I had something on the other side that morning. And that same day was the same day in the afternoon that I had an interview for a job that I did not apply. When they were going to interview me, 15 minutes to the time, they asked me for my CV. I was not wondering, what kind of organization is this? They asked me for my CV. Okay. But I just went, let me just go with the flow. Don't burn bridges. I ended up getting that job. I did not apply, and I was referred. It was a salesperson that did that. Another person you need on your network, a Marvin. A Marvin, if the PowerPoint slides can show. A Marvin is somebody on the network, on your network, who is so well knowledgeable in everything. You can connect that to the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Football, the person knows. The knowledge is so deep. And now the story behind that for me was one day in one of the seasons in my career, I worked, fantastic employee, hardworking, passionate, delivery results and the rest. And that day, my line manager just asked me, he said, how much is crude oil? I went like, I've delivered this, I've delivered that. What concerns me with crude oil? But that changed the trajectory of me getting knowledge. That I did not even just need to only, my focus was, let me get knowledge in my field. They say, if you keep on getting knowledge in your particular field, 5 years, 7 years, you become an authority. When you keep on acquiring knowledge. And so that was where I was going, or that was my focus. And they asked me how much was crude oil. I looked like, how much is the barrel of crude oil? What's my business with the barrel of crude oil? He said, how many dollars? And I was looking like, so I was rolling my eyes. And he said, you should know. And that person, so that changed. I started watching CNN after that day. So I can't even know what is happening in the international space because I didn't care. But that changed me even knowing, okay, what is even happening in the world today? And that's why you need a Marvin. A Marvin would show you the light, or you can even reach out to that person for information. That particular leader at that time, he's a CEO of CEO, Chief Operating Officer of a fantastic big business. I'm talking about a business that does 250 billion in a year. But he developed himself till he got to the point of a Marvin. And then one more person that you need in your network, politics. You need someone in your network who understands how to manage stakeholders. Managing stakeholders, you have different stakeholders, different nationalities, different individuals with different personalities. So the way I will be able to get a result from a Pastor Yomi will be different from the way I will be able to get a result from Sister Oyinda. Yeah. And the way I'll be able to get a result, because you need someone, politics, who can sell you and mention your name in the palace. Who can sell you and mention your name in the palace. And so I round this up, self-leadership. We are raising kings. It starts from you. You want to impact your generation, you first of all have to lead yourself and lead yourself effectively. And I'll take you through 4 formulas. A formula that I learned from Fela Durotoye. SSML. S. On your self-leadership journey, you want to make impact. What do you need to start? The first S. What do you need to start? That's a question that only you can answer. What do you need to start and commence on? You should be able to answer that question yourself.
The second S, what do I need to stop? The first one, what do I need to start? The second one, what do I need to stop to get better on my self-leadership journey? In making impact, what do I need to stop? Number 3, what do I need to do more? The M is more. What do I need to do more? What am I doing now? What do I need to do more? Is it invest time in my self-development? Is it invest time in things of God? Is it invest time in youth development? Is it invest time in the works of my hands, in my academics? Whatever it is, you need to ask yourself, and you're the only one that can ask yourself, and answer honestly, what do I need to do more? And then the L, less. What do I need to do less on my self-leadership journey? What do I need to do less? You are the only one that can answer that question. And when you can honestly answer that question, then it takes you up to, on your self-leadership, we're always talking about discipline. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Discipline to develop yourself. Discipline to grow. You just need discipline, discipline, and discipline. And so you have to be intentional on your self-discipline. And so while we move up and we wrap this, I just have one more thing to tell you. Affirmations. You can never go wrong on affirmations. Even the Bible says, we know words have life. I do not allow anybody to say any negative things to me. If you are saying it and I will answer you. I'm telling you, I reject it. And I'm saying the opposite. Words have life. What words are you speaking into yourself? Affirmations. And so, just take these affirmations with me. I'm going to call my name. So when we get to your own name, call your name. If you can help us project, it will be awesome. I am Komi Jagun. I lead myself with confidence and purpose. I believe in my ability to create positive change in the world. And I take action to make a difference. I choose to be intentional about my self-development and adding value. I am brilliant and highly valued. I choose to be disciplined. Eyes on the goal as I pursue the goal. I am confident and worthwhile. I take feedback in good strides and work on it. I am destined for the palace. Please, can you say it like you mean it? I am destined for the palace. I am committed to continuously making impact to the next generation. I will raise kings. How many of us will join me in this affirmation? I will raise kings. Thank you very much. Keep leading yourself.
Wow, thank you so much, Mrs. Jagun. Can you please give her a wonderful round of applause? I learned a lot. I mean, my notepad is already filled up. Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you. So right now, moving on to the next session, we'll be welcoming Mrs. Olashile Abayomi. So I'm going to read her profile. Mrs. Olashile Abayomi is a young lady led divinely by the Holy Spirit to touch lives and provide solutions to the needs, problems of upwardly mobile people who generally love homemade Nigerian soups and stews, but are restricted due to time constraints. And this led to the birth of Supermarket. It is suffice to say, her passion met her calling. She has bagged her BSc in political sciences and went ahead for her master's in international relations and world order. She also bagged professional certifications in HSC and oil and gas management. She's also an alumni of Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University. Olashile uses her cooking talents to feed the underprivileged, and she calls it Super Street Ministry. She also travels to remote villages to empower orphans on how to make Ankara accessories for free, a skill she learned to show serving NYSC, that's coppers, amongst her other charity works. Wow. Please let's welcome Mrs. Olashile Abayomi once again as she come up stage. You're welcome, ma. You're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Are you happy? No, sincerely, are you happy? Or you need money? Are you happy or you need money? Okay. Who wants this 5,000 naira? Who wants this 5,000 naira? Who wants this 5,000 naira? She came for it. That's a big lesson for you. Nobody is going to hand success over to you. You go and get it. Nobody is going to cuddle you. You go out and get it. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she wanted and she came for it. So you have to know what you want in life. You have to know what you want out of life. You cannot sit down and be, you complain and complain. You've been complaining all these years. What has complaint done for you? It hasn't done anything for you. You just continue to wallow in self-pity. You continue to blame your parents, blame your background, blame where you're from, blame your husband, blame your wife, blame your children, blame the government, blame everybody. But you will not go out to get things done for yourself. Nobody is going to hand success over to you. You really need to fight and fight tooth and nail for it. And you don't have to go about it through gimmicks or lies or pretense or, in a very dicey way, cunning way. You can actually do it by being hardworking. Yes, other people in the world, they are doing well, better than you. You see Yahoo Boy, you see blah, 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 and they're doing better. But it doesn't last. What lasts is the work that you're doing. It outlives you. She spoke about Martin Luther King. He's been dead for how many years now? But we're still talking about what he has done. We're still talking about what she has done. So people will continue to speak for you. You may say, oh, I'm dead. I don't know what's going on anymore. But don't worry. The prayers that they will say for you after you're gone will continually to stick. In Jesus' name, in the mighty name of Jesus, as we start today, Lord, come into our hearts and open our hearts and let us hear you. Lord, give me utterance and give the people the hearts, the willingness to hear what I am saying and be the doer of everything I have said. In Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen. In Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 to 24, it says, whatever you do, work it with all your hearts, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you're serving. My topic for today is the mindset of excellence. This passage tells us about our pursuit for excellence. That is not for you. Many of us here are working for someone, even though I have my own businesses. I think my customers are my bosses, because whatever they tell me to do is what I have to do. I have to obey them. So we are all working for someone one way or the other. But now I want to talk about the employees. If you're an employee somewhere and the company is not seeing your impact because you feel this is not my business, so it's not my father's business, I cannot kill myself, then you are depriving yourself, because the Bible, according to what is there, says that you're not doing it for God. Even if your boss is a difficult person or your boss is the craziest person you've ever met, I think it's better for you to just do your part. Come there with excellence in your mind. Come there to say, I will do my best in this place. Even when you leave, or maybe when you don't come for a day, they get to start missing you. This person has not come. I trust Folashade. If she was here, this thing would not have happened. I trust Benga. If he was here, this thing would not happen. Don't do things like I don't do things like I don't care. It doesn't make sense, and it's not good in the sight of God. I started supermarket first before I started Emioga. Now, supermarkets, in supermarket, we cook for some of the 1% of the 1%. And I did not actively go out to look for them. It's usually referrals. So they call me and they say, oh, you are highly recommended. It gives me joy when I hear that you come highly recommended. It means I am doing something great. For even if they go to other places to buy, they always come back and they come to say, man, we've been to this and this, but your own is always exceptional. To the point that when people steal my picture, I don't even do watermarking and all those things anymore because people just steal my pictures regardless. But when people steal my pictures, other people go to fight for me to say that never, this is supermarket's picture. We know it, we can tell. She's the only one that does it like this. You need to bring excellence into everything that you are doing in life. Even at home, even for your parents, even to your siblings. They need to know that you love them. I say something at a company that we treat every customer like God. Because are we not all created in God's image and likeness? We're all created in God's image and likeness. So if a customer is coming to you, you see them in God's image. You see them as God. I feel God is the one that is coming to buy my ewedu. God is the one that is coming to buy my amala. God is the one that is coming to buy my eforiru. It's just that he cannot come down for himself. So he had to come in through other people to be able to patronize me. Let us try to treat people well, especially our bosses. I realize that a lot of Gen Zs, apologies to the Gen Zs in the house, but many of the Gen Zs don't want to work. They are not ready to put in the hard work or the passion. They just want to do things and they want to be paid. The company that employed you did not start like that. They did a lot. They put in hard work, tears, many challenges. They went through a lot to be able to gather some money, make that investment, be able to provide job for you to come over and work at their establishment. So please always try to put passion in the things that you're doing. Also in Proverbs 22 verses 29, a lot of us recite this every day. Any little thing, I shall stand before kings and not me men. I shall stand. You cannot stand before kings if you are not doing the right thing. You will never stand before kings. There was a time that I got a call from a palace in Lagos, and it was actually the Olori Gongo that called me. I didn't know initially, so they just said they wanted this, that. I'm like, oh, okay. And we concluded. She said, do I know who is speaking? I said, I'm sorry, I do not know who is speaking. And she introduced herself. And I was like, oh my God. I still did not believe. I thought it was scam. Then when she paid with her personal account so that I would know that she's actually, I was like, what? This delivery, I will do it by myself. No matter what, I will go there. So, because if I don't go to the palace, how do I stand before kings? If I send delivery person, how do I stand before king? So I have to go. King has called me. Then I have to deliver. So on that said day, I made the stuff and I drove by myself. I went there. They said, hey, she's busy. Can you drop? I said, no, I cannot drop it. It's food. Normally, we don't even drop food anyhow because it is something that somebody into their system. So you cannot just drop it anyhow unless you get an express instruction that we should give it to so and so person. So I got there now, and later she came after like 3 hours. I sat there. I was waiting. After I turned on the AC so that the food heat will not catch it. I was shy inside the car there. So eventually she came and she like, super, you came by yourself? I said, yes, ma. I said, sure. Hey. Just as she was talking, the king was coming out. She now said, I knelt before the king. I was happy and I was very emotional. And I went back to my company and I told myself, I said, do you people know that? I first told them about the Bible verse. They should already, they read it. And I said, I have stood before king today. Literally, I have stood before king. But again, it might not be like that for you. Every human being you see is a king. Every human being you see is a queen. Which is why I say that we treat people as if it is God that is coming. Treat your customer like God. Okay, God, you know God. God is very funny. God can, in Yoruba, they call God Alapadupe. There are things that he would do. And you are like, I want to fight. But you cannot. Because he's God, he's unquestionable, he's Kabiosi. Your boss is not Kabiosi, he's not God. But you have to see it like that. That, hey, okay, okay. If you now have grievance, you can meet your boss and say, "Ma, sir, this thing that you did in the morning, I do not like it. It really hurt me." And if that person is a person of God, the person will say, "Oh, I am really, really sorry." Or still try to tell you what you have done wrong, and you people will settle amicably. It's not nice to go and be gossiping about people, even amongst your colleagues. You're trying to, when I say do things excellently, I didn't mean you should do things in eye service, because a lot of people do eye service. So your other colleagues, you have colleagues like maybe you people are like 5, but you want to be the one that the boss will like all the time. People can see through you. Some people can see that this is not you. You're just trying to pretend, or you try to sabotage your colleagues. That one is not good. Though. That's not excellence. That's not good in the eyes of God. You just get there, do what you can do, and move on. I mean, my business has a lot of people, prominent people that I know in this, our Nigeria, and even sometimes, even abroad. It's because of my work. I say that if I wasn't doing this job, I probably would never have met any of them in my life, because I actually left Chevron to come and be cooking for you. It is divine for me. It's not because people were doing it. It is divine. That people at the place, they were like, "Are you insane? How do you leave this for that?" But that is what God has called me to do, and I'm working in my own purpose. And what most of them say is, there is a way you do your stuff. It is totally different. Right from the phone call, you show respect. Honor is a big deal. Try to honor people. It doesn't mean you are foolish. It doesn't mean you are stupid. It's just you trying to just be a good person. Just be a decent person. A lot of people these days are not decent. A lot of people these days they lack honor, old and young. You will see some old people, the things that they do, and you're like, But again, someone said that old people, stupid people to grow old, bad people to grow old, wicked people to grow old, selfish people to grow old. So you can't say automatically because they have gray hairs, automatically they're good. It's what they are used to. It's the culture that they grew up in. Even if you were born in the ghetto of the ghetto, you can still come out to be a good person. In my feeding ministry, I feed people under the bridge. I go to the slums. I go to the craziest place in Lagos that that original Berosa. I've been there. I've gone there to preach and I serve. So when I go there initially, I dress like them. I speak like them because that's the only way they can hear me. When I first started, I was doing Mary Amaka, and they collected my food and ate it and threw my stuff at me. Second time they did it, but when I prayed, the Holy Spirit said, "You are not speaking their language. Go back, speak their language." I did not know. I'm from Isaleko. I have madness. Let's go. So we got there, and I was like, "Okay, kilo shale, grandma shebi we MBO." They're like, "Anto Ibo, hey, kidiko," And I said, "We have to pray. We have to do the devotion." And even days when maybe I'm in a rush, I'm not around, they're like, "Anto Ibo, we have to pray. We have to." I see Kori, I see Badura, I teach you. See, people need to see the God in you. It's just simple as that. People need to do things as if you are doing it for God. I think that's the only way, because we are in church. Maybe when you realize that it is God you are doing this stuff for, you now have a change of heart and start to treat people with love, with kindness, and start to put your heart to what you are doing. You are praying to God, "God, please give me a job. God, please give me this business." Then God gives it to you, and you start to misuse it. God is not foolish. God will not give you another one. He will give it to somebody else. Look at the story of the talents. He collected the one from the one that did not have and still gave it to the one that already had, because the one that had it knew what to do with it. So please try to be good. Try to do things like you are serving a higher purpose, a higher calling. It will help you in life. It will make you stand in places that you don't expect. There are places that I enter today, and I'm like, when I enter the place, I'm usually like, how? But when they want to give me feedback, they're usually like, "You're an amazing person." I am strict though. I am very, very strict. I am very tough. But nobody can say that I'm a bad person. I try and I do my best. All right, so these are the steps for you to be an excellent person, to have an excellent mindset. Number one, you should have a clear vision. Have a clear vision. Define your goals and aspirations clearly. What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? In this work, in this company that I've just joined, what impact am I bringing? What do I want to be known for? What do I want to be remembered for? How do I want them to see me in this business that I'm just starting? How do I want people to perceive me? What is going to be my watchword? Why are they going to come to me? Why are they going to prefer my merchandise? Why are they going to prefer me? Why would they speak for me? Why me? Why me? You need to define it. Then number 2, time management. This one is very, very important. Maybe all of us know all these blogs on Instagram. You see Nigerians fighting in blogs. They are talking about people fighting over people they don't know. They have no idea about stories they don't know anything about. Even on X, Twitter, people go there, bash everybody, insult everybody. Don't do that, please. The time that you are using to insult people, to be gossiping, to be watching what does not concern you, use it for your life. Use it to improve yourself. Use it to become a better person in life. That is how you can move. Manage your time. Your time is your life. Any time that you waste, you can never get it back. You will never get it back. And people are watching. That's the truth. You don't even know who is watching. You don't know who is just in one corner saying, this person, they take an interest in you. But when they realize that you don't manage your time, you don't know anything, when you are asked to go to a place, you show up on time. If you're running late, call and say, I'm running late. Those are the signs of excellence. Those are the signs of having an excellence mindset. Don't just walk in there anyhow. Don't just do things anyhow. When you miss a phone call, return the phone call. Sorry, I missed your call. If you cannot call back, send a message. Oh, sorry, I missed it. Don't let people come to your shop to sit down and be talking for morning till night. It's not a good thing. Don't let people come to your desk to talk for morning till night. It's not a good thing. Let people know that you value your time and you don't play with it. So anytime you give them your time, they appreciate it and they value it. Number 3. Continuous improvement. Nobody is an island. I am still learning. We are all students of life. So continue to improve yourself. Continue to learn. Always seek ways to grow. Always seek ways to grow your skills, to grow your grow your to spread your tentacles. Always look for ways to do things in a better way. Number 4, resilience. Embrace challenges as opportunities. So when I started serving at that place in the ministry, remember I said that they will collect my food and plate away and they will just harass me and all that. But it did not stop me because I knew the goal, I knew what I wanted to do, and I was very resilient. And 9 years and counting, every Saturday we feed over 300 to 500 people for free. So God has really, really been faithful. Thank you very much. Then the next one is positive attitude. You have to maintain a positive attitude every single time. Always see things from the lens of positivity, even when it is negative. Because what's the worst that can happen? If you look at it from the positive aspect, yes, you know that this milk, it has broken, the bottle is broken. Okay, it has broken, no problem. At least I did not break. I can always buy another milk. At least my house did not get burnt. I can always get another one. You have to always look at things from positive outlook. Then adaptability. You should be able to adapt. You should be very flexible to adapt to anything. Life will come at you. There are days of famine and there are days of plenty. In business, in life, in everything, there are days you have plenty money and there are days you don't even have 1 naira. It happens to everybody. But you need to be able to adapt. Not that, oh, because I am hungry. Then you see another hungry person that comes to me to, oh, please give me money because you don't have money. And I say, yes, I don't have any money. No, speak to people with love. Oh, I'm sorry, I myself, I do not have a lot on me, but God will provide for the both of us. Just be kind to people, be nice to people, and be able to adapt because things will not be forever. There are days of plenty. Always remember this is very important. So that when you are going through life, I always say something that when life tries to show you pepper, you show life pepper soup. So if life wants to show me pepper, I don't know how to cook. It wants for me to make pepper soup. I need pepper soup and go and sleep, and all will be well by the grace of God Almighty. Another one, the next one is persistence. You have to continue to be persistent, keep pushing forward. I think I said that earlier. Then self-discipline. You have to develop habits that will keep you focused, habits that will set you apart from every other person. You need to people to see and know that this one is a different breed. See, there are some things that people should not be able to come and say to you. There are some things they should not
that, but we can try, try to get to the perfect stage. So, I'd like for you to ask yourself these questions, or this question, and I'd like for you to ponder on it. You say I, you mention your name, and I, Olashile Abayomi. Am I a destroyer or a builder? Thank you very much. Wow, thank you so much, man. That was very, very, very insightful. Thank you so much. Am I a builder or a destroyer? So I want us to answer those questions and that question that are in our hearts. Ponder on it. Are you a destroyer or a builder? And I pray that God is going to help us in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much. Please let's give a round of applause once again. Okay, so right about now, we're moving on to the third session, and the next speaker we have is Mr. Yinka Obunebe. But before I move on to the next session, the third session, I would like to ask if you have questions. I'm sure some of us already have questions, and you might go, oh, this speaker said that. Is it true? But how about in this scenario? What should I have done? How should I have responded? Oh, they've said this about Gen Zs. I'm sure we have Gen Zs in the house, and you're like, Gen Z, why are they always just talking about Gen Z? Gen Z, this, Gen Z, that. But you're here to learn. We've come here with open minds. So if you have questions, please note your questions. I know she has said one or two things, and Mrs. Kome has also said one or two things. Maybe she said something that you're not really clear about. Does anyone have a question? Anyone? Okay, no one. So we'll move on to the third speaker. I'm excited already. I'm enjoying myself. I'm like, third speaker.
This session is going to end soon. That's why it means, but we'll take it all in. That's why we came. So the third speaker is Mr. Adeyinka Ogulubi. Mr. Yinka Ogulubi is a finance professional with extensive experience in corporate treasury and finance spanning 26 years. Wow, only 26 years. An expert in the implementation of treasury management systems across Africa. He pioneered the implementation of TMS systems with Nigerian banks in 2004 and subsequently across Africa. Until October 2017, he was the head of Treasury, Project Support and Training for the CFAO Group at CFAO Group in the Anglophone countries, comprising 8 countries, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, respectively. He is currently the president of the Association of Corporate Treasurers of Nigeria, ACTN, the umbrella body of corporate treasurers in Nigeria. He is a member of the board of trustees of the Christian Financial and the umbrella Christian Financial and Accountability Association, CFAA, pardon me, and he sits on the board of several companies and non-governmental organizations. His first book, Honey, Is It in the Budget, and other tools created by him have helped several families gather the knowledge and forge the mindset required for the optimal management of their personal and family finances. He has also developed tools that help SMEs manage their financial reporting needs. Yinka is passionate about Nigeria and national development and commits time to mentor many young social commentators, entrepreneurs, and bloggers. This passion also reflects in support for worthy causes. Such as the Adopt a Camp project or projects aimed at supporting IDPs in Nigeria. With a resounding round of applause, please let's welcome Mr. Yinka Oyedepo. Welcome, sir. What a rich and long profile on the stage.
Thank you very much. When people ask my profile, I always just want to leave it as the profile I have on my WhatsApp profile, which says husband, father, aspiring pensioner. That explains me in totality. I have the unenviable task of speaking after two very brilliant women. And I don't know why Yomi did this to me, Pastor Yomi. I don't know why you did this. You should have allowed me to speak first. Because these brilliant women have just completely said everything I wrote that I have in my slide. And that's what happens when you have brilliance in front of you. Thank you for the invite. It's so nice to see my sister Olashile every single time. She keeps getting more beautiful. I don't know. I'm tempted to ask what's the soap that you are using so that I can also, do that. Fantastic human being. I've known her for many years, and she inspires me. You keep inspiring me. I'm meeting you for the first time now, but it's good to know that we're the same alumni of Rome Business School, actually. Yeah. Yes. I was. I just came from there.
I arrived back yesterday. Yes, it was this guy that put me back. Yeah, so delighted to be here, and I also hear that there are people online as well. I like to always support events like this because for me, I think these are the very critical conversations that we must have. I asked a question on TV some weeks ago, can you change Nigeria without changing the Nigeria? It's a question that we never answer, because whatever we do with leadership stems from what we do with the Nigerian. How we feed him, what you feed him with, what knowledge does he carry, how does he approach his duties as a husband, as a father, as a student, as an employee, as a civil servant, as a president, a governor, a senator. How does he approach it? Those are critical questions that every Nigerian must answer. And it is in forums like this that you shape the minds of young people. It's in forums like this that you shape the minds of people to be able to appreciate what they need to do. So, my topic, I'm speaking on this projection is very suspect. So,
favorite sport of us. So I'm the firstborn of 5 children, 4 boys, the last one a girl. I'm the first grandchild. So I learned leadership from home. I didn't learn it from business school. I mean, what business school taught to me was just addition to what I already knew. I learned how to be responsible from the fact that the task given to your siblings, you know, I was responsible to make sure that it was carried out. I was responsible to make sure that all my other troublesome, siblings had to do their chores. And I understood that if they didn't do it, I got the punishment, not them.
So there were lots of things that I learned over time. And the things that I'm going to be talking about today, well, these enduring skills, are things that I've learned, over time about why.
Leadership was seen as associated with divine authority, hereditary power, and you see it with monarchs, emperors, religious figures who ruled through this kind of structure. So the idea then was that leadership was bestowed on you, or that you were born into it. Exactly. So that was bestowed on you by divine authority, or that you were born to be a king and all that. And the leaders of thought at this time were people like Socrates, Plato. These were philosophers in the Greek at that particular time. And, they wrote books to that effect. The second dispensation is what we call the medieval and feudal era. That went from the 500 BC to the 1500 CE. Now, this was also built on the idea of the hierarchical structures of kings, lords, and nobles. But it expanded a bit into the idea of loyalty, honor. So we began to see that it wasn't just a matter of you being a leader because you were born a leader, but there were duties that you expected of you as a leader. Duties around loyalty, on honor, and duty. So you begin to see a lot of kings that claim leadership on the basis of victories at war and things like that. And the leaders of thought at this time, you will have heard of Machiavelli. How many of you have heard of it? Yes. Machiavelli, the Renaissance of Italy at that time. These were leaders or scholars of thought who shaped leadership learnings at that particular time with their writing. I mean, Machiavelli wrote a book at that time called The Prince, and provided pragmatic insights into leadership and governance and all that. You also had Thomas Aquinas. If you've ever heard of him, he was one of the leaders of thought. He was actually a theologian, and he helped shape the concept of leadership by introducing the idea of justice, prudence, and charity. Then we have the Renaissance and Enlightenment era. This was the 14th to the 18th century. And we begin to see the shift in the idea of leadership from just this hierarchical concept to the humanism component of it. We begin to see the human and the individual part of it. So it wasn't just a structure, a king, a government, a kingdom, an emperor, an empire, we began to see things like the individual components of leadership, challenging traditional norms. So, and the leaders of thought at this time were people like John Locke, who was an Englishman, and he articulated through his two treatises of government the idea of limited government, the idea of individual rights and social contract. This is the start of democracy. All right? So we begin to see the rise of the fall of empires and the rise of democracy during this particular era. The fourth era is where it begins to get closer home. That's the Industrial Revolution. That's the 18th to the 19th century. Now, this saw the rise of capitalism, right, and modern business enterprise, leading to new forms of leadership within industrial organizations and co. The focus shifted away from not just the structural setups of leadership, but towards rationality, scientific management, organizational efficiency, and things like that. So people start to think about leadership from not just the perspective of what the government can do or what the empire can do. The concept began to look at what are the efficient organizational structures that can deliver the best leadership shape. So the leaders of thought at this time were people like Adam Smith. How many of us have ever heard of him? And if you studied, if you went to university, you will have heard of Adam Smith. You must have read or heard about the Wealth of Nations. Okay, I'm going through all this so that, because this is a class at the same time as a workshop. Because we need to understand that we didn't just get here overnight. We got here by evolving through systems. Another leader of thought at this time was Frederick Winslow Taylor. All right, so Adam Smith was from Scotland. Frederick Taylor was from the United States. And then the final era, which is the 20th century and beyond, is where we are. And in this dispensation, we look at leadership through what we call new understandings of leadership styles and behavior. So that's where we begin to see theories about transformational leadership, okay, situational leadership, servant leadership. Okay, so we begin to see a lot of concepts, In fact, right now I've lost track of the number of concepts around leadership that we have. The globalization, technological innovation, cultural diversity, all of these have influenced the leadership that we have. And the leaders of thought that have contributed in this era, people like Max Weber, for instance, and his writings about bureaucracy, autocracy, charismatic leadership. People like Peter Drucker of the United States. Now, the idea here is simple. The fact that we didn't get here overnight, we got here by deliberate evolution of the understanding of leadership. And I can tell you that if we get to live the next 100 years, the next generation, all right, or the next two generations, will be looking at a different era of leadership, a different understanding. But essentially what we have achieved is that we've come from this place where people think that leadership is bestowed on you either by divinity or either by birth, to the point where people now understand that leadership is not by title. All right? How many of us have read that book by, what's his name? A Leader Without a Title. What's his name? I've forgotten. Sharma. Robin Sharma. A Leader Without a Title. That we're now to that point where we know that leadership is not necessarily determined by position, all right, but by influence. And so that's what leads me to my definition of what leadership is. So leadership is the ability to inspire. The next slide. Leadership is the ability to inspire and influence others towards achieving a shared goal or vision while empowering them to contribute to their best effort to willingly and enthusiastically. So 3 things stand out. All right? The ability to inspire. If you listen to what Shile Akami said, they talked about inspiration. They talked about the fact that you need to, as a leader, you need to inspire people. All right? And you need to influence. So inspiration and influence go together. They go together. So we understand now that the leader of an organization is not necessarily the chief executive officer. We had a conference, the conference we had last year in November, the Treasurers Conference of Treasurers of corporate organizations. One of the things we told them is the fact that you are the chief executive officers, because a lot of organizations survived COVID and this volatility of FX and everything because of their treasurers. Because a lot of organizations did not understand the importance of having treasury managers until this crisis. Because these are people who are trained in the process and the structure of managing volatility. And a lot of organizations who were able to make it around this area had experienced professional treasurers who were there. So one of the things we said at that conference was that you are the MD. Because you are the one that makes sure that the lifeblood of the organization, which is cash, keeps running. And so so leadership is not based on title. The fact that you are the MD doesn't mean that you are the leader, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have influence to inspire. All right, and that needs to be said. And then the last point of it, which is empowerment. So in a way, you put leadership together. 3 things must occur: inspiration, influence, and empowerment. If those 3 things are not aligned, the leadership is of no consequence. And that's where you begin to understand the problem of Nigeria and the problem of Africa. Because when you see our leaders, you either see that they have inspiration, no influence. They have influence, no inspiration. They have empowerment, no influence to inspire. Nothing. So it is those things that we need to begin to emphasize, and that's why for me, that's why I feel that this topic is very, very important. So enduring leadership skills refers to the timeless qualities and capabilities that are fundamental to effective leadership regardless of industry, context, or era. So the things that I'm going to be sharing, the points I'm going to be just dropping, are things that transcend era. So it doesn't matter your context. It doesn't matter your school of thought. You might be servant leadership. You might be transformational leadership. You might be situational leadership. You might be leadership, bestowed on me by the Holy Spirit. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that regardless of your frame or your understanding or your school of thought of leadership, the skills that we're going to be talking about transcends it. It's the same in every of these points. So why are these skills important? Why are they crucial? There are 3 things, before I start to mention them. There are 3 things why they are crucial and why they are important. Number 1 is VUCA. Finance people understand me, mainly I say that word. VUCA, V-U-C-A. VUCA means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Okay, and the reality is that the world we are in today is a volatile world. Uncertainty is the new certainty. So it's not a case of you are planning. In economics, we call it all things being equal. No, you don't plan with all things being equal now. You plan because there would be volatility. world that we have today. Who knew in 2020 that COVID will come? Who knew? Who knew that after we survived 2 years of COVID, that Ukraine and Russia will decide to start their own? Who knew that there would be a time that the naira will be exchanging the dollar for 1,950? I bought at 1,950 at some point because I was desperate to buy. Who knew? So it's not a question of let's try to predict the future. It's understanding the fact that we live in a world that is volatile, that is complex, that is uncertain, and that is ambiguous. And so that is why leadership is very important, because the person that you have, in that office at that time is very key. I'll give you 2 examples. In the US, I don't know if you remember the Ebola crisis. 2013, 2014. Yeah, at that particular time. Now, we were saved from that crisis because of leadership. And not just leadership at the point of the executive level, but leadership at the individual level. All right? So the governor of Lagos State at that time, Fashola, did a brilliant job. But then we had a doctor at that level who, without the knowledge of the people in authority, took leadership upon herself and saved an entire nation from Ebola. Look at the United States. The United States at that time had a president called Barack Obama, who also dealt with the crisis of Ebola. At the end of the day, maybe 1 or 2 people died in the United States from Ebola. Compare it with what happened under Trump. Millions of Americans died, far more than where the source of the COVID came from. Why? Leadership. So leadership has consequences. That's just what I'm trying to say. Leadership has consequences, and if we're not very careful, we will lose out on those things. And then the second thing is issues of trust deficit, which is huge in Nigeria, and then leadership has global and national consequences. So I will run through some of these skills. Some of them have been mentioned, so I won't dwell so much on them. Number 1 thing is that you need to have endurance leadership skills is visionary thinking. Visionary thinking. You must have the ability to see the bigger picture. You must have the ability to see the bigger picture. You must be able to set the goals. This is what we want to do. I tell people in my office that, what I want to do when I come to the office is get to the office, drink my coffee and all that, and then open my my laptop and read the edition from Harvard Business Review, The Economist, and all that, and then just cross my leg and then see what's going on. And somebody said, "So what are you going to be doing?" Nothing. Why? Because I've set the vision. And I've given the tax out to everybody to do. All right? So if you have any problems, come back to me. The leader is not the one that runs after everything. And that's what you must understand. It's not the one that must be seen to be doing. He is the one that sets the pace with the vision, sets the big picture, sets the long-term goals and strategies, and inspires people based on that compelling of vision. Number 2 is emotional intelligence. The leader must have understanding of managing emotions effectively, build strong relationships and rapport, and have empathy and active listening skills. One of the big skills of leadership is just the ability to listen. I don't know how many who needs to listen here, maybe as a husband or as a wife, that sometimes I learned that as a husband, because my natural instinct as a guy was to solve my wife's problems. When she comes with oh, I have this, I was like, I'm reading out like 10 things you need to do. it took me a while to understand that sometimes she's not looking for a solution. She just wants me to listen. Because she already has a solution. She just wants to know whether I'm paying attention to what she's saying, whether I can put myself in her shoes. I said, that's what you're going through. If I was in that, I'll be feeling bad myself and all that. So what do we do? And she now gives the solution. And I'm wondering, where did the solution come? She always had the solution. But the leader just has to have emotional empathy. You cannot be disconnected from people because people will show you. As a leader, they will show you. I am the president of the cooperative society of my organization. So this cooperative society has a lot of people. Senior manager, middle manager, but most of them are junior level managers. Now, I'm an executive manager, in the organization. I'm not just senior manager, executive. So before you can even get to me, you need to do a lot of bit of effort. But is it because I am holding these people's 10,000 naira? They will call me at any time, send me messages on my phone, demand audience. Come to my office and demand, and I don't have a choice. I will sit down, I call them, listen to them, because of what? I'm holding their money in trust. And they believe that they have a right. And some of them could be very rude. To be honest, they could be very unruly. Because of what? I have 50,000 naira in the cooperative, so I should go by what? But yes, they feel that but I'm a leader. And because I am, I must swallow my pride and say, okay, all right, I get you. Oh, you applied for that loan. You were not qualified for it. Oh, okay, all right. But you see, I wouldn't explain what it is. In my mind, I'm like, but look, you have to have emotional intelligence. That's what I'm saying. You cannot just assume that, everything will be, everybody will come and, align with you. Number 3, communication skills. Communication skills. You have to have effective communication skills. And the point here is not communication. When two people are talking, they are communicating. But it doesn't mean that they're necessarily effective. Effective communication is two people communicate and two of them understand what they are communicating. We're unfortunate in this country that we had for 8 years a president who could not communicate effectively. Now, he was doing a lot of things. Good. He was trying his best in some ways. He had a good team. He had a very good vice president who could communicate very well. But you see, he lost something. Because you see, we know the story of Moses and Aaron. When God called Moses and said, Moses, you're going to do this job. But Moses knew his defect immediately. I just said, you know what, send me Aaron. So that Aaron can do the communication. Me, I'll be doing the miracles. Aaron can communicate. All right? Because he understood that it's pointless. All right? Because you don't hide a light and put it under the bushel. It's pointless telling people that I'm for you when they cannot see it. You need to be able to communicate. So a leader must be able to communicate effectively. Recently, I had a meeting with the CBN governor, and on these issues of the crisis, the Naira crisis, and everything. And one of the things that that I communicated to him was the need for effective communication. You cannot just put things out there, just post it on social media. And you are using very technical terms that 99.9% of people don't understand. What you are doing is that you are leaving a gap for people who have ulterior motives to fill it up. Because understand one thing, many people when the Naira was devalued and all that, many people thought people did not want, there were people who didn't want it to devalue. And we're all, no, you got it wrong. There were people who were invested in making sure that the Naira kept on devaluing. People invested in it. What do you want to tell with somebody who bought Naira at 1,500? that they want the naira to drop below 1,005. No. And guess what? A lot of all those people were big banks who had invested in making sure that the naira kept devaluing. They had a target price. And until they reached that target price, it was not in their interest for the naira to appreciate. So if the CBN comes up with all sorts of policies and says, this is what we are doing, is it in their interest to explain to you? No. They were never going to communicate. So there are a lot of people, even individuals on social media, who took a lot of things that were going and turned it around and were using it for conspiracies. So one of the things I did, I'm not a paid government official. I looked at it. I came together, did a recap of I think 4 of the policies to just explain to people this is what the CBN is doing, and this was what this was in February. To say that this is what they are trying to do. It is not a conspiracy. It is not this. It is not that, and all that. And a lot of people came back and said, thank you, sir, for what you explained, because now we understand. We thought that they were coming to do something because of trust deficit. But now we understand. But you see, why should it be me doing that? The people who were communicating, why didn't they communicate it effectively? Why do you throw out policies and whatever? You expect that people should go figure it out. No. When you communicate as leaders, you must make sure that people understand what you are communicating. Otherwise, those who understand it and they have ulterior motives will use the same information, twist it, and you will get the wrong view. And that's what happened. Because it took them a while to be able to understand what's going on. And by the time you realize what is going on, those who are ulterior motives are taking the naira to a different place. But it was good. The one thing I would give to them was that they understood what was going on. They listened. That was one of the skills that they had. They listened. If there's a difference between the CBN governor we have now and the ones that we previously had, this one listens. The other one was spiritually deaf and dumb. This one listened. And they quickly made adjustments, and we can see the impact of those adjustments. Let me quickly wrap up. Adaptability. My sister spoke about this. I won't talk about it. I won't talk about that. Integrity and ethics. Integrity and ethics. I have people who come to me and say, Yinka, please form an investment club. I just want to come and dump money on you. I refuse to do that, because I know the responsibility that goes into that. But there are people who say, I can vouch for you. And that's what Kami was saying when you talked about sellers. People who know you and you don't even know them. People who speak for you don't even know them. That's what Shirley was saying when she said there are people who highly recommend you. And what are they recommending? It's your integrity. It's because they see something in you that is valuable. So integrity sells. I know that we are in a dispensation where people think that being fast and sharp is what you need to have. Yahoo, and all these kind of things. As Yomi said it, the survey that they did, that 70% of youths were bold, and those were the figures we are seeing as well. That now you go to secondary schools and you do these surveys, secondary school students are coming to you boldly to say, I want to be Yahoo. Boldly. They're not hiding it again because they see that those are the role models of society. But we need to change the narrative to say that integrity pays. And it is what naira and kobo. And it can speak for you even when you are not there. And that is endurance, an enduring legacy to have, rather than to have a legacy where every time you're looking over your shoulder because you don't know when EFCC will run to the door. I sleep well at night. Listen, I sleep well at night and I manage billions and millions of dollars. But nobody has ever come to chase me for anything because I've never cheated any man. And I've never cheated my employer. I do my job so I can sleep well. I don't have any issues. Okay, so I'm not rich, but I can sleep well.
Do you understand? You are rich, but you cannot sleep well. You are a problem. You are a problem. Empowerment, empower others. Empower others. It's the mindset of leadership is that mindset of saying, I don't want to be the only superhero in the room. I want others to also experience it. I just came back from a trip. I've been away for 3 weeks. I have a team working in the office. If I tell you that maybe in that 3 weeks, I checked my email like 5 times. Now, I know there's a problem in the office. I know there's a problem. I know I'm resuming on Monday. I know there's popularity for me in the office. But you see, the thing is this. I've told them, look, make mistakes. Make mistakes. It's allowed. So whatever mistake you have made, as long as it doesn't lead to shutting down the company, we can resolve it. Because you see, if those guys don't make mistakes, they can't learn. And if you're not in a position to be empowered, they can't learn. Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, gave him a very good advice. When he saw Moses being the only champion, delivering justice and cancer. And he said, you will kill yourself. You need to empower others who will speak for you. And that's the thing we do. Sometimes some of us, especially if we are perfectionists, we are afraid to delegate. Because we are afraid that, they won't do it the way I would. Yes, they will not do it the way you are doing. But if you don't empower them, you replicate yourself. Because one of the tasks of leadership is to reproduce yourself. So you need to empower them by delegating to them. And that's what we do. And that's how we should do it. There's no superhero. I am the only one who can do it. No, it doesn't work that way. Next, continuous learning. My sister spoke about that. Let me just say one word about continuous learning. I was talking to my daughter recently, and and she was asking, so she was like telling me, she's in final year university and all that. So she was like, she was so happy to have been done with exams. And, oh, Dad, this is my last exam. I'm not going to do the exam again for me, your father, I'm in my 50s. I'm still doing the exam. In fact, when I applied, when I applied to Rome Business School, they actually called me on conference call, and they asked me, sir, we've gone through your profile. Why are you applying for this program? Because I was applying for Masters in International Finance. He said, what do you need it for? Your profile is already, do you want a job? I said, no. I'm not applying because I want a job. I just want to update myself in learning. Because you see, the day you die is the day you stop learning. And the way you know the strength of a leader is to ask him, what was the last book you read? So you need to keep learning. Keep learning. It doesn't matter. As long I'm in my 80s, I will keep learning. I will still be in school. So those of you Gen Z who think that, let me just finish this master's, I'll be the end, I lie. For you to be relevant, you need to keep learning. So my final take to everybody is this. We have a task to do. And it is not only for those who are on top, but also it is also for us. So if there's any inspiration that I want to give to you is that from where you are, you can change things. You can be a leader. You can be a consequential leader in your church, in your fellowship, in your home, in your small space. You can actually apply these skills and be transformational. And in the process, when opportunity comes tomorrow to be in a position of executive leadership, because that's what a lot of people aspire to. They want to get to executive leadership, where you have the CEO, the CTO, the CFO, the governor, the president, all that kind of stuff. When you get to that point, you'll have built up capacity to deliver and not be the disgrace and the mistake of leadership that we have found in Africa today. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Please, can you please give me another round of applause? Thank you, sir. So you actually dissected the subject of leadership for us, right, starting from the origin of leadership, the genesis, and how things have evolved, where leadership is concerned. Thank you so much. And he said that integrity pays. Integrity pays. Integrity pays. It's very important because of the kind of system that we find ourselves. I remember, just like Pastor Yomi said, when I was in school then, I think we just finished final year in OAU, and then I was asking a colleague of mine, that, okay, so what are you going to do, and then now that we're done, I said, so, and then, something led to the other, and they talked about government, that, if he becomes the governor of Lagos State that is going there to steal, it's coming, I was surprised, I was shocked, I'm like, how can you say yes, he's serious, so if he's going there, he's going to steal, and I was so amazed that how can someone think like this? But that's somehow, do I say the reality? But that is where we are found ourselves. That's the system that we are found ourselves, where young people are saying, oh, I'm going to steal, I'm going to, and I'm wondering how. But, so that's, the reason why we should come for conferences like this, where you learn, you unlearn, and then you learn. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, man. We learned a lot, so much from you. Like I said, my notepad is filled up. So right about now, we're moving on to the panel session, where we'll be having our distinguished speakers come up stage, and they'll be asking questions. And we want to welcome Mrs. Kwame Jago to the stage. I also want to welcome Mrs. Olashile Abayomi, and I welcome Mr. Yinka Ugomebi, as well as our very own pastor, Pastor Yomi Akishola. Welcome you. Okay, so in order to kickstart the session, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and please, if you have a question, you can either write them down, or you can please just signify with a show of hand. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to ask a personal question, then I'm just going to ask a couple of other questions. And so my question really would be, as a leader in a team, you're not the leader in the team, but you're a member of the team, and I won't say you're at the bottom line, but you report to people, someone
that reports to another person. How can you effectively lead from there? Maybe you have, maybe the person you're reporting to directly does the job, but you still feel like this person plays, and there's a lot of work to be done in the team, but because you're at the bottom of the team, you can't really tell your boss that you always play that. There's work to be done. I have so much work to do, and I'm not doing so much. I can't just take the part of the task. But so how can one lead effectively from that? Chain. So who would I be throwing that question to? Okay.
When you're a member of the team, hello. When you're a member of the team and you have the manager and the manager has the manager, and I want you to work. The first thing I'll tell you is keep moving on. Before you know what, you see that even that manager in between, he or she will keep on sharing the work to you. It will be workload will be a lot. But the advantage you have is you get deep knowledge, exposure. You end up doing so many things that you should not even be doing because of I work with someone who told me I'm a basic manager, I'm paying my dues. So now you'll be doing it. And then I will have to stay and work so late, and that leader would have gone. I will stay at his home do my thing. But what he did for me is, as I grew, when people struggle, I thrived. And that was because of the exposure that I got from doing his job. And so that's, first of all, look at it, what is it for me? You get more exposure, you get more knowledge, you get to do a lot of things that are even above your radar. And then in the future, it helps you. Secondly, do you want to tell your boss that you are busy? You cannot say tell your boss that you just learn about emotional intelligence. You can give the only feedback that I normally give them. I'll say, don't you think? Because I have somebody, let me say to Yoruba, I used to say, I'm from Polo or Gawa Shishe. And so I'll say, don't you think? And then he owns it and say, yes, we can do this, we can do this. He collects all the things, but he knows whose idea it was. When it was time, or whenever it's time for reward, I watched somebody who claimed all the reward himself. It ended up being to his detriment. Because he grew and he got to a point he did not do that job that I was doing. He lost his job eventually. And then me, that I've been adding all his own with my own, I slept right. So it is, how do you say it? They call empty or full. Take your learnings from it. When you need to give feedback, and what you will now find out when you look at the positive aspect, you earn his trust, his or her trust. Any little thing, you are not. They call you, and that particular person that told me that I'm a lazy manager, I paid my dues. You know what? They said just the way he said it that he replicates into at some point I paid somebody to. I paid my dues, and then I was pushing a lot of work to her because I wanted her to really thrive and develop. But then, what advantage you get, you'll be amazed. One of my leaders like that, he lost his job because he grew, but he could not do all the work. And you know what he did? He was taking all the glory. He was growing. Me, I was stagnant. He was taking all the glory. And when he was time, now they're asking me for jobs. So look at the positive aspect of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so that what you said led me to another question. I'll come back to that. And I'm going to actually address the question to Mrs. Falashi. But before I do that, let me just ask another question. So my other question would be that how do you foster innovation in your organization's leadership structure? How do you foster innovation? So I'll ask Ms. So this is for you, sir. I'm not asking that question.
How do you foster
innovation?
So the process of going from 3
days to 1 day is innovation. That's the process of innovation. So you start innovation really by asking questions, right? Because one of the mistakes that a lot of organizations make is to believe that one, they are at the height of their sustainability, and there's no need for innovation. So they don't need to evolve, they don't need to do all of it. It's a mistake, it's a big, big mistake. I was telling my daughter the other day, trying to describe to her what a floppy disk. She was looking at me, she's 21 years old. She never saw a floppy disk, 3.5. Some people don't even understand what I'm talking about. 3.5, that the size of the floppy disk is 3.5 megabytes. That's what we use. We innovated from that point to the compact disk. Laptops don't even have compact disk capacity again. And so the point really is, you cannot say that you have reached the zenith of sustainability without innovation. You have to keep innovating. And the way to start is to first, like Tommy said, ask yourself those things you were saying, SS. Which one, what do we start? What to stop? What to do more? What to do less? When you ask those questions, you identify the gaps. And the process of going from those gaps to getting it done is innovation. All right.
When trying to innovate, you do what you ask questions. You ask questions. You know how to go about thinking about innovation. So the next question I'll be asking, I know that Bible says that I'm trying to paraphrase the scripture about choosing life and death. It says you have to choose one every day. Choose big decisions every day. We are poised to making decisions every now and then. And my question goes thus: how do you approach decision making in complex and ambiguous situations? Every now and then you have to make a decision. For instance, maybe someone who's above the organization gives you a task and so your task. How do you say it's not my task? With all due respect, it's not my task. It's not within my children. I've not done the one I came here, I've not done it. You know? So every now and then we're faced with decision making. Someone asks you to do something that you know that you're not supposed to do this thing. Maybe change figures, you know. Like how do we handle this? These are recurrent realities, you know, because I know that some of us say, I'm not the leader. I'm talking about leadership. Well, from where you are, you can actually lead, you know, but right from where you are. So please, who do I direct that questions? Pastor
I was hoping you were able to call because I have my organs. So it's a privilege to sit with them. And I'm not taking it for granted. So quickly, I feel that if you're going to take any decision, look at what's the end. Every decision has an end point. So you envision the end point before you take that step. For instance, you want to decide on the course of study. So it's your vision, where you're going, that will help you decide what course you will take. As regards saying that when you tell your boss that this is not my duty, I think Mr. Komi actually dealt with that aspect. As regards you understanding that, look, you are building up capacity, and then it will help such leaders become your sellers, your salesperson. You know that now we have a problem and I have a staff at this point. This job will be done. So now you already have a mindset that, look, this is who I want to be remembered as. I will use my own example, myself as an example. I always believe that there's a solution. I'm solution oriented. You will not accuse me of failing. You can only accuse me of not trying. So that helps me take decisions at some point in time. That okay, I've not done my KPI is waiting and I need to meet up to it. It only means I spoke to somebody, the person is the panel here, and there's a day we were talking, and it was way past close time. I think we were talking about around 8:39 p.m. and the person was still at work. And this is senior management person. So the fact that that person decided to remain to finish the deliverables is from a place of looking at it that, oh, this is who my brand is. You bring problems, yes, it's sacrificial. Some things it is eating into maybe the extra time she possibly wants to do other things. But she takes that as one because the end goal, the vision where the person is going is helping the person make the decision to stay behind and ensure that those tasks they are done. Consequences, that's another point. What's the consequence of me taking this decision? Remember, if you do this, this is where you're going. If you do that, this is where you're going. So the consequences of different actions or the end of any decision you make is already staring you in the face. So it helps you to decide effectively what to do at time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You did justice to that question, I would say. Okay, sir. Yes, please.
Because you asked, all of the question talked about your boss asked you to change your.
So that's just a scenario, yes, sir?
It happens a lot. It happens a lot. I mean, I've had cases where junior staffers have come to me. There's a particular case where a lady came to me and she was an accountant. As she said, my boss asked me to introduce these entries into the position. And I know that they are issues. And I'm a pastor's. What do I do? And I remember, giving her advice on that approach. I reflect on it. Maybe I should have given her some more, which is why I said this. But I remember my advice to her there was resign. And it's just like because the job is very important for me. She only just resign. Now, everything that anybody asks you to do, whether it's a boss that is not legal, it's fraudulent, it's fictitious, they will never say it in writing. They will always say it orally. It will never be stated in writing. It will always be an oral instruction. So, you are challenged with, you don't want to be insubordinate because this person is going to appraise you. You don't also want to, you have a commitment to your spiritual ethics, not to be close to that. So what you do is this, if I give you such kind of instruction, not in accordance to the codes and the internal policies of the organization. Simple. Just write a mail to your boss. Dear boss, in reference to this conversation about I kindly confirm that I should do X, Y, and Z as you have instructed. You will never get a response. And that's the person.
Wow.
So just apply wisdom. You don't want to. I see some people have of faith. I just say it's useful. No, my father is a God. I think of it. I will not. I've got to lose a share in you have to apply wisdom to it. Just make sure you let that person understand that I know what you're doing. I will not be part of it. But if you are strong and sure enough of what you want to do, confirm it, then it's fine. There was a situation in my office a long time ago where I'm a treasurer, so I see money moving. So I saw money moving where it shouldn't move. And the people involved are my bosses. I can't go and question them. There were people that I can question that, Ross, what are you doing? But I couldn't. So, what I did, but I knew that at the end of the day, if there was an inquiry, I would be questioned because I'm supposed to be the superintendent over that. So what I did was simple. I just sent an email to them to say, I noticed this movement, blah, blah, blah. Please confirm that you are aware and you are authorized. Never got the response. But you see, 4 years later, and this is why it's important, 4 years later, it was discovered that there was a discrepancy in that. And they did a poll. And they put everybody, including myself and my office, what symbol was that email? That singular email that I written. Simple. So if you're in such a situation, don't go out and be doing shakara or Ajagbadi, you don't go and fight. No. Just put it in writing. Formalize the process. And you have, in that you have covered yourself.
Thank you so much. I'm just now making them right. So I'm going to go straight into my next question. Please, do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So going right into the next question. It says, can you discuss your approach to building a culture of accountability and responsibility within your organization? So I'll be directing that question to Ms. Bayomi. That culture, because I think that we're in a system where we don't really know. Some people, like the culture of accountability is not really maximized. It's not a habit. It's not something that we are being taught. And so just want to please now.
Okay, thank you. When it comes to accountability, it starts from brain, actually, where something is bad. Maybe someone broke the chair and you're being asked who broke this chair, and you don't know who did it, but you decide to, it's not you, and you just let it go. Or let me use a very simple one. You broke the chair, you are the one who broke it, and because you fear that your parents might beat you up or your siblings might beat you up, you decide to say, oh, I don't know, it's not me. That's not you taking accountability, that's you lying. Because if there's somebody in the family that they know for notoriety, they will accuse that person and say it is that person, whereas you are the one who did it. Then another one is, if you are used to not taking accountability for things where you're not used to, accountability simply means saying the truth at all times. So you're not used to saying the truth. When someone asks you something, okay, let me use this. You're crying wolf. Nothing happened. You're an alarmist. Hey, people are showing nothing. Another time again, hey, they come again, what? I'm just playing, nonsense. So this is how you love me. Wow. There will be a day that you will shout that A for real, and nobody will come and rescue you. And you will say they are bad people. They are not bad people. It's because they're not used to you telling the truth. You're always lying. This also goes into a relationship with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, husband, wife, where they've pointed out your offense to you, what you've done to offend them. But instead of you to apologize and say, oh, I'm sorry that. Now, listen to this story. There are two stories. There is, I'm sorry you feel that way. And there is, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way is on the surface. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way is accountability. I am actually sorry that my actions made you feel the way you feel. You can now proceed to now explain your own part, but you need to acknowledge that first. That is accountability. Another reason, another instance is maybe customer and merchants. Maybe the merchants, you call and call, they didn't pick up. Eventually when they pick up, you just say, what kind of rubbish? Let me use myself as an example. The customer called me. We are in the same country, the same Nigeria, the same time zone. Called me at 2 a.m. I did not pick. Why are you calling me at 2 a.m.? I'm not going to book for you at 2 a.m. But she left the message. And she was like, what kind of rubbish sleep are you sleeping at 2 a.m.? And because I was angry, I said, you must be very stupid. Now she picked my part and went to post it on her story that, look at this one talking. She removed the 2 a.m. part of the conversation. Then I said my own story because somebody saw it and tagged me that, we don't have to be this kind of person. Then I said my own story. And I said, but I apologize for responding that you must be very stupid. I know I shouldn't have. That's accountability. I know that what I said was wrong, but I am sorry I said so. You are the person who made me say so, but I am really sorry for saying so. For instance, on Twitter, example, people used to come for me before because if I say my own opinion, you want to come and attack me. And out of like a torrent of attack, or angels attacks, I pick one person to reply that one person. It is my own response to that one person about the legion of people, 200 plus that are insulting me, that will go viral. Why is she responding? She said bad, she said this, she said that. Before I usually be like, they came for me. But then I begin to understand that no, you have to accept the fact that first you're wrong for responding to that person in that manner, then you now come back to, you are the reason why that in a place of work, this thing happened. You don't give that I don't care attitude, nonchalant attitude, it's not my business, so it does not concern me. No, you don't do that. You have to be responsible. Accountability is also responsibility. Taking responsibility for things. Last week, some people came to my restaurant and stole my phone in the kitchen. We were at the backyard cooking, and they entered the restaurant, passed through out of bounds, came into the kitchen to steal the phone. Now, there is somebody outside. She said she did not see the person. Negligence. You are not supposed to say this because your job is to watch whoever is coming in to ask them, what would you like to eat? So till the person came inside and went outside, you did not see the person. They came inside, stole phone, and you didn't see the person. Another person, the cleaner, said, I saw the guy. I spoke to the guy. I asked him what he wanted. He said he came to deliver something to another. Have you seen that person before? No. Is that person part of us? No. And you didn't shout, you didn't complain, you didn't yell, you didn't try to initiate the person. It felt like it wasn't his business to do that. That is not accountability. Accountability, yes, I'm supposed to. So when I eventually took the case further and they got to the police station, they were not saying that, I did not know. I did not know is not a good response. Ignorance has nothing to do with the law, because the job you were supposed to do is to watch out for the good of the company. So you being negligent can put you in jail. You being irresponsible can put you in jail. I think accountability, to develop the culture, start saying the truth. It is just the truth. Start owning up to where you are wrong. Don't only say the things that people did back to you. Say the things that you too did that were acted at it that came back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So accountability starts by what? Saying the truth and taking responsibility for what you have done, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Thank you so much. So I have my co-host as a question. So I wanted to ask, with this accountability, how do you juggle politics and accountability? So I work in the corporate world, and everybody tries to have this of which you're supposed to do. You can manage a couple projects there, and it's going to be what's your base of business. I know with that money you are not working, or maybe you are not really doing a purpose. How do you manage the fact that even my line manager sometimes the certain responses he does not have? But you just say, let's talk about it again. Fine, you wash it down. Do you get what I mean? So it's not being dishonest, it's just like because I'm taking a case like where I was working in a case where my line manager told me to request a particular and I don't already said it. And then they called me and then you didn't take to me just say that I wanted to say my but I could do that because I called the vendor and the vendor was there so I was safe. And I'm saying like how do you juggle like you being accountable and because politics is a very big part of the corporate world.
Okay, so this is where wisdom comes to play. wisdom is profitable to direct. So there's something they call white lie. I don't encourage it, but it is what it is. So it's not like you're lying, but you're just trying to be politically correct. So in order for you to still keep your job and still get the task done, you have to pray. That's why every time you tell God, please, give me the spirit of discernment. Holy Spirit, help me. So there is white line, which is the political part. And there is an outright, do you understand? So wisdom again is for you know when to apply wisdom. You know when to, if it's going to be to the detriment of your name, because your name is all that you have. If it's going to be to the detriment of your reputation and so on. But if it's not going to affect you, it's just a little thing to just keep the company going. Why not? Like he said, like my bro said, that put some things in an email, put it in written form, so that nobody, for instance, if I want to take some orders, after we've said everything on the phone, you use 10 hours on the phone to explain one thing, no problem. I'll still tell you, please put it in writing, so that we are all on the same page. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, okay, to add to what she has said, I know that on my job, my role before this, I used to have to deal with customers, and these customers are like your CEO's friends, your dad's friends that you cannot afford to do. And sometimes they even lie against you. So I'm serious, they'll say they will lie against you and not tell you see, but usually what we have is documents. So if a customer tells you, I'll type it as this customer, secret to our conversation, no matter how tired I'm feeling, common sense to tell me I still have to type that conversation, because when they go and tell that I can forward and say, sir, this was what happened, where is the proof? This is it, sir. And that's the case, because they won't say anything again, So wisdom, and then maybe I get into a situation whereby and a customer is telling you to do something like, oh, how can I respond to this customer? So maybe I'm not able to attend to you there and then, because I used to work 24/7, Saturday, Sundays. I'll just tell you, kindly be informed that you are looking into your service request and will be back soonest. You can't hold with, I didn't give you a time. So just buttress what she has said. So wisdom, Holy Spirit to just give you, and then you look like a superstar on your job. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, Abiola, for that question.
Sorry, I just want to add something as regards using wisdom, you have to be very careful between wisdom part and something that taints integrity. Because I like what I like what you said earlier as regards documentation. I worked with in a company some years ago. I was a senior manager there, and there was something that I'd got to fight for salary of staff, and the chairman of the company had already said, okay, you can go ahead and then implement. Okay, then we had a meeting. I'd gone and called the HR manager. She should go ahead and do all of these things that she should do. And then, of course, my communication with the HR manager was documented. My communication with my boss, chairman, was not documented. It was verbal. I, a pastor, the chairman, pastor, but a lawyer, seasoned lawyer. Okay. On the day of the meeting, I had written reports, and then I was not presenting reports of the company. And then when I got to the place that I affected a certain percentage of improvement, and then he called me and said that, who authorized it? I said, you, sir. Where is the evidence? So when we finished, he just wanted to teach me a lesson and tell me that even if it is him or anybody moving forward, document it. So that's what I just wanted to do.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so I know Abella has another question. So how do you deal with managers that do cover? So when I was working, I had a manager where so I worked there like 16 years. And the role was very big role. I had a lot of things to manage. And something will happen and she just says, I don't start
take this job, man, all of a sudden. So she would always call me that because I would cry. I cannot explain it because I really don't know what the history is. But any small thing that happened that, because normally she's a very confident person. So every time I went down and talked to her, she knows that's something to say. Something happened one day, I don't think in my life. She was torturing. And she was the one that instructed me. That's how she just threw me that because for like 2 days, she made it look like it was my problem because it was coming money. So every point in time, it was more like I had to navigate the entire corporate world at this point. Because I didn't have a line manager that would just say to me, this is what happened to you. And she just was like, that's back the next time. She was just throw me. And in my new job now, I'm working with somebody, I'm not supposed to be fun. But he is very, very cold. There's nothing that he will say, he will be the one to answer our request. And they come and tell you that this is what has happened. So next time, talk like this. So people that have managers that at any small instance, they will just, they will just go and, it's not fair.
You have experience for
Yeah.
and now you're better at it.
Yeah.
So next time we're going to have a manager that doesn't cover you, you have a better perspective. And that's the reality of life. And that's the reason why, I have a daughter that is very, very entrepreneurial mindset. She doesn't want to work for anybody. I said, no, you have to work. Because when you work for people, you see different human beings. You will see in the market. And you see Lucifer. Or the destiny of us. And you are still accountable to them. But what you do is a true thing, you learn to build capacity. There are some bosses you will go home every night and you will cry. You will go, but you still back with tears. Put off from before. Go there to do it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. But you build resilience. It was coming as spoke about it. You build resilience. You build toughness through that experience. So none of those experiences are for granted. God has a reason for you to experience it. Jesus had reason to go through, what's that? He had reason to go through, before he got to Jerusalem, the garden. He had reason to go through the trouble before he got, to the Calvary. So you must understand that if for any reason God puts you in contact with that boss, there's something that he wants you to experience. I once had a situation where my boss was the MD of the managing director. Now, a few years, like 2 years before, he had interviewed me. I was moving from Port Harcourt to Lagos. I had a one-on-one interview. And he asked me a question. You guys, in 5 years, 5 to 10 years, what do you see yourself? I mean, only basically, 11 people or something like myself. Confidently looked at it and said, where you are sitting. Said, really? I said, yes, sir. Said, if for any reason you have a staff who doesn't aspire to be who you are, then you should be your staff. So, I mean, I use all those motivational, for another 2 years' time, just, said, okay. 2 years later, there was something, I made a decision. That decision was the wrong one. It was the wrong one, but I was the one that made a decision. And that decision costed us something. And they wanted to know who was responsible. So it was me, so someone knew to talk. Now, I mean, I've forgotten the conversation I had with him, but he remembered that this is the man I like to take, so he wanted to do. So he looked at me, he kind of, when I got to his office, he said, I knew it. He now stood up from his chair. Come and sit down. I thought he was joking. He said, come and sit down. He said, in fact, no one, take the Bible. That's the chair. Start signing it. He said, because you always wanted to be the end. You always wanted to. And I was so put down. I felt so demoralized. I felt so insulted, and rejected. I left that office. Went down to my office, typed my resignation. Immediately, I mean, if the MD can pull you down like that, I didn't have a career. typed my resignation letter. I was printing it when God said, stop. Whatever you are going through with that man, I want you to learn. It is me. I put you down. Just sit down. Don't submit that, whatever. Go through it. And I went through it with him. I accepted the fact that I made the wrong decision. And all that. And it was whatever. You know what? Guess what? A few months later, it was through him that I got the biggest breakthrough in my career thereafter. And God did it such a way that they removed him and they brought in the Pharaoh that knew Joseph. You understand?
Thank
So,
you, sir.
I'm saying is that look, don't ever think that whatever you're going through, that there's it's bad. It's part of your growing up experience within the job. It can never be straightforward, everything fine. You will find those bosses that are just not it, but you learn from it. Guess what? They will not be there forever. You either not have that job forever or they will not be there forever. And then you cycle, and then you will have learned from that experience and build capacity to be better.
Thank you so much, sir. Pastor Yomi, I was going to ask if you have any question for the other panelists, our guests.
All right. Okay. So I ask a question then.
Oh, great.
Yes. Well. Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello. Can you see us?
Hello, sir. Can you see us?
I don't think so. Okay. Is it from here or from